Are you working on your New Zealand travel itinerary and got stuck? No worries, my top 7 proven New Zealand travel tips will help and solve most of your New Zealand planning questions in minutes. Use my local knowledge and experience for your best possible New Zealand vacation. Hi, my name is 𝗥𝗲𝗋𝗀𝗀 from Virtual Journeys and Guest New Zealand. Over the past 30 years, I've been a tour guide and travel agent for New Zealand. Throughout this video, I will provide you with good to know insider knowledge you don't want to miss when traveling to New Zealand. It will make a real difference for your overall holiday experience. I will have some sample itineraries later on in these videos for you to check out. So let's get started with the top 7 tips traveling to New Zealand. Travel tip number 1, time. As most travelers come a long way, it's all about time. So bring as much as you can. Even 1 to 2 days can make a real difference. Then plan to stay 2+ nights at one location. That way you will have 1 full day to explore more to cover one area properly. This will increase your overall travel experience straight away. Good to know, consider the jet lag when flying a long haul. Don't pick up the rental car after a tiring flight. Instead, get a transfer to your first accommodation, stay active with walks and fresh air, and go to bed as late as you can to get over the jet lag. Travel tip number 2, locations. Before booking anything, start with selecting key locations. These are based on your interests: hiking, golfing, birding. These are key planning steps, and together with timing, it's really 50% of your overall planning strategy for New Zealand. Once those items are decided, it's much easier to focus on individual itinerary items. Travel tip number 3, the ratio between North and South Island. Most travelers want to travel the 2 main islands. A good ratio to plan for is staying 1/3 of your time in the North Island and 2/3 of your time in the South Island, if you bring at least 12 days time. If you have less time or you want to travel at a slower pace, then I recommend to exploring one island only. Again, this would be based on your interests such as hiking, golfing, etc. Travel tip number 4, less is more. This is another key point. Don't underestimate the travel distances between locations in New Zealand. Driving from A to B takes often longer because many roads are windy. Most scenic drives have only 1 lane in each direction, and by the way, you don't want to rush it anyway. It's far too beautiful for it. Good to know. Google Maps are often not accurate in New Zealand when it comes to timing between distances, so add 10 to 15% while calculating traveling from A to B and you're about right. Travel tip number 5. New Zealand is a self-drive paradise. However, for longer distances and especially between the main islands, domestic flights are a great way to cover miles and save valuable holiday time. And if you book some months in advance, you'll save lots of money as well with better airfares. Good to know, with rental cars it's easy to drop them off at one airport and pick up at another at the next airport. New Zealand airports are much smaller, so often you will have only a short walk from the terminal to the rental car. Off you go. Planning tip number 6, accommodation. Traveling through New Zealand, it's very much about people. Therefore, staying with locals in bed and breakfast, lodges, cottages, boutique hotels is a real treat. It offers a much more real New Zealand experience. In many cities, the only option are hotels. Good to know, when going for smaller accommodation properties, you need to book early, like 6 to 9 months ahead in peak summer season between November and March. Best places are often booked first, and there is a limited number of them, like Vineyard Cottage. Travel tip number 7, tours and activities. Those reservations come last, but you want to plan and pre-book your must-do tours in the overall itinerary. This is especially the case with anything related to nature, such as penguin tours or unique walk like Milkwood Track. Those need to be booked months ahead during this peak summer season. Many of the other tours you don't need to book ahead, so you want to keep some flexibility in your itinerary schedule to achieve a nicely balanced itinerary. Good to know, the weather will play a role too with some of the tours, like a helicopter ride. Those can be cancelled at last minute or need to be rescheduled, so consider this when planning locations and pre-bookings. Sample, keep a time window available for those weather-depending tours. Right, I hope these suggestions were helpful. Check out in the description below some sample itineraries, some of my favorite ones, and reach out for any questions you may have. I'm happy to help and point you in the right direction. If you liked this video, if it was helpful to you, please subscribe below and thumbs up to stay connected with more New Zealand travel tips. See you in the next video.